Welcome back to the dark side, everyone on YouTube. Darth Vader is coming back at you with another video today. We're going to be getting back into some of the previous videos that I've done on YouTube, FNAF VHS tapes, scary animated stories, and of course we're starting out with the scary animated stories. So, yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Trailer Park Horror Story, because why not?
My name is Brianna, and this happened to me a few years ago. I live in Silver City, New Mexico, and I was in a bad place at the time. I was living in a trailer park during that period, and I was about to walk to see my boyfriend. It was late. I'm not sure what time it was, but it was between 12 and 3 a.m.
Never walk anywhere from a trailer park to anywhere. You're living in a trailer park, that's rough. I'm sorry to hear that. But when you're walking to another place between 12 and 3 a.m., you're asking for trouble.
I got out of the house, turned on my phone flashlight, and began walking. Keep in mind that there is one large orange street light that illuminates the mailboxes near where you would turn to drive into the trailer park. However, as you walked down the road, there were no other lights. Not even a single house light.
Wow.
I've always been a bit paranoid, but it was only a 10 to 20 minute walk, so what's the big deal? So I began walking down the street, and my flashlight barely lit anything. I could see a few houses, but as I walked further down the road, I saw a massive ditch filled with trees, grass, weeds, shrubs, bushes, and a rail going down. On the right side of where I was walking, there was nothing but dirt and hills. I kept looking back as I walked to reassure myself that there was no need to be so worried and afraid, but I was just so nervous. I could see the end of the street from where I was standing. There was a dance studio on the left and a large fenced-in house on the right, almost like a checkpoint. It was a little far away, but I figured if I kept my flashlight straight and walked quickly, I'd be there in no time. Suddenly, I heard these movements, almost like steps. However, they weren't mine. I stopped and pointed my flashlight at the railed ditch, hoping to see someone walking or even an animal pass by. But there was no one there. "Hello," I yelled.
Don't call out.
Shining my flashlight towards this big, eerie tree that slumped over the rail. And nothing. I turned around to see if there was someone behind me, but there wasn't anyone. I thought I was just freaking myself out, so I kept walking. Then I heard a hissing noise coming from the hills, almost like a cat or a large animal. I pointed my flashlight to my right, and there it was. I stopped in my tracks, my heart in my throat. It wasn't an animal. This thing had skin, clear skin, and I could see its spine.
Oh, hell no!
It was on its arms. I had no choice but to book it down the street without looking back.
Run away!
A couple of items from one of my jacket pockets or pants pockets, but I didn't go back. I could hear its heavy and harsh breath getting closer and closer. I didn't have time to scream or cry or even get a better look at this thing.
Nah.
Finally, I made it to the light pole next to the fenced house. I looked back as soon as I got under the light pole, and the creature was gone. I stood there for a moment, wondering if I was just paranoid and my imagination got the better of me, or if I had actually seen some demonic, ugly skinwalker thing. I had no idea, but all I knew was
may have been a skinwalker, may have been a rake. Ain't nobody know.
Ran down the street until
Ain't no way we know.
I'd never felt more at ease with his arms wrapped around me, just cuddling me and holding me tight. I never ended up telling him what I saw until a couple of years later. To this day, I still don't know if it was my mind playing tricks on me or if what I saw was actually a bloodthirsty creature preying on its next victim. I never returned to that trailer park or the road leading to it, and I hope I never have to.
Well, I mean, if you're in a better point in your life, then yeah, you don't need to go back. Okay, well, that's one way to start off the thing.
When I was 10, I was playing outside in the park with my little white bunny. I was letting her eat the grass.
Why does this dude sound so menacing when he reads this story? I was playing in the park with my little white bunny. Like, damn, dude, what the fuck?
But suddenly, she stood up. I usually don't see her do this because I never let her get near anything dangerous. But she sensed something dangerous. I didn't know where that danger was, and I thought it was nothing. So I just continued to watch my bunny. However, she zoomed to the corner of the park fence. I was super confused. Plus, it was almost sunset, and I had to go home. So I picked her up gently, with my other hand supporting her bum. I was getting a chill, so I walked fast, in case the danger she sensed was following. I looked back, and I saw
Ooh, boy.
sunglasses, and I saw he had a bulldog with him. It was drooling, and it looked like it
He's adding to the level of evil that this bulldog is giving off.
wanted to eat me and my bunny. So I booked it out of there. I ran as fast as I could, hoping he didn't let the dog free. I hugged my bunny near my chest so she wouldn't wobble around while I ran. And when I looked back again, his hand was on the dog's collar.
Why'd you
I was
stop?
about to remove the leash. I was tearing up. But then I saw my neighbor. He's a 6'1", 20-year-old man. So I ran to him and hid behind him. He was confused about why I hid behind him, and I explained, that man is about to let his bulldog free, and it might eat me and my bunny. And with that, he looked surprised and angry.
How does he go from being like evil and scary sounding whenever he narrates to terrify you? Like, I don't know whether to be scared or confused.
Probably because
Confused screaming.
why would anyone do that? Don't they know if they let a big scary dog free, the dog will get shot? Even though the park was near my house, it was 2 minutes away, and I couldn't run any faster because I was only 4'6". He told me to get back safely with my bunny, so I did. As I was walking home, shaking, I heard my neighbor yell, "If you let your bulldog free, I will call the barangay." But it seemed
The what?
like the man didn't care. After a few minutes, I got home. I put down my
After a few minutes, I got home. What are you doing? Why do you sound so scary, guy? What are you doing?
bunny, and she hopped away slowly. I started crying, and I called for my mom, but she wasn't home. So I sat down on my bed, crying.
This narrator is making me confused as all hell.
Did I just get an emotional shock from a man and a bulldog?
Yes! What the fuck?
I don't know. But to this day, I avoid bringing any pets to the park that will be
If you didn't bring your bunny to the park, you would have been dead.
considered a type of prey. I'm 14 now. Although my bunny passed away due to sickness,
Aw.
I ask those who bring such small animals to the park to please try to avoid any big predators and strange looking men.
Avoid any dogs that could be a predator to your bunny. And any strange looking people. What the fuck is this narrator? I don't know. We'll move on to this one.
Hi, I wanted to share this story with you that happened to me about 10 years ago. I grew up on a big farm in Sweden. We had a ton of different animals, ranging from dogs, cats, horses, and sheep. I was around 16 or 17, and it was in the middle of winter. I was in charge of feeding the animals before bedtime, since my foster parents had to get up early for work. I wasn't afraid of the dark, but I didn't enjoy it either. I always took the dogs with me.
The horses are like, give us the food, human. We want the food, human. Yeah, we want the food, see?
And asked the oldest to be close to me for safety. She was a very protective dog. I was walking down from the house, and right in front of me was two big pastures. At the time, they were empty, or at least they should have been.
Oh boy.
They are only used in the summer. But in the second pasture, in the middle, I saw a shadow just standing. It looked like a human, but way too tall.
Oh boy.
It was as tall as the woodshed, so around 10 feet tall. I just stood there and stared, not really knowing what I should do. Then Doris, the dog, started to bark and ran down to the pasture. You have to go around a stable and a barn to get to that pasture, and since it was dark outside, she quickly disappeared in the darkness. I started to run after her and shouted her name to come back. I remember glancing at the thing right before the stable blocked my view. When I rounded the barn, I saw Doris staring at the spot where it should be standing, but it was nowhere to be found. Not even tracks in the snow.
It's an Enderman.
I have no idea what I saw that night, but even now, as an adult, I refuse to go out alone when it's dark. And I'm sure that I didn't imagine it because of Doris. She never barked and ran towards anything unless she had a reason.
Okay. Well then, that was interesting. I also just remembered that I'm subscribed to another YouTube channel that does scary animated stories. Stephen D. Everybody. You what?
It was a really busy night, and I was delivering pizza without any time to pause or even take bathroom breaks. When all of a sudden, the urge to go pee hit me all at once. I pulled up to the next house, and it was an area I delivered in before, so I could immediately see that something wasn't right. All the lights were off in the house, not even the glow of a television or anything. The block was dead quiet. I called the number the customer provided, and the voice on the other end said, "Yeah?" She sounded out of breath. "Hey, it's your pizza out front, but there doesn't appear to be anybody home." "Yeah, I'm not home." I had to pee so badly that I was much less patient than I'd otherwise be with the customer right out the gate. "Well, then we're going to have to terminate the order because I've arrived in the stated delivery window and you were supposed to pay in cash, so I don't know what to tell you." I instantly regretted letting my bladder do the talking for me, but she responded, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was running down the street so I could barely hear you. I knew you were coming. Please don't leave. I'm starving. 5 minutes tops, okay?" Well, now I felt bad for snapping at her. No, my bad. No need to rush. See you when you get here." The safest bet was to use a bush in front of the woman's house. Home, and the street light was out so no one would see me. I scurried over to the tallest bush in her front yard, about 4 feet from her door. I looked both ways, unzipped, and finally. After the initial millisecond of relief, I noticed the sound was way off. I started panicking, thinking I'd aimed wrong. But once I started, I can't stop missing. I was squinting into the darkness to see if maybe I was hitting a rock or something and could just move a few inches over. All of a sudden, I heard a way more concerning noise. "What the f-?" I turned around, assuming I'd been caught by a neighbor. A man came leaping out of the bushes. He blew past me, brushing my golden shower off.
What the fuck did I just... brushing my golden shower off. You don't say that, bro. Nobody fucking says that. What the fuck did I just click on? I thought I clicked on a scary video.
Off him as he spit pretty emphatically on the ground. I think I might have beamed him right in the face. I didn't remember what he was saying because I was still in shock, but after a few minutes, I do remember hearing a car screech out from a bit further away. I was so frozen that I didn't even put my junk away. I just stood there, trying to figure out what had happened. That man was wearing a hoodie in 90-degree weather.
Okay.
Bad man, you're in a bad situation, I said to myself.
Okay.
I turned on the flash on my phone and tried to peer around the line of shrubbery. And that is when I saw the bag. There was a tattered drawstring bag sitting behind the bushes. Once I maneuvered it over and pulled it open, I saw a sharp knife,
Oh boy.
a roll of duct tape, and a bottle of pills. I dropped the bag, booked it across the street, and slammed the pedal before the door was even closed all the way. I pulled into the parking lot of a 24-hour store.
7-Eleven.
I call first, the police or the girl? But then I thought the girl on the phone was just a decoy to get me there to rob me. She called me out of breath, she wasn't home, the whole thing was off. I called 911 and the operator assured me that someone would be there soon. My rational mind said the odds of her being a decoy girl for some large scam targeting pizza guys were low, and the odds of her being an intended victim were a lot higher. I took 911 off mute and told them I had returned to look for the girl. They weren't happy about that.
Well, no.
I saw her meandering past the parked cars and in the street looking to see if one was mine. I waved her down and I kept whispering, "Get it! Get it! Oh, you want me to get the pizza from the back? Look, there was a man in your bushes. I'm on the phone with the police. I don't know where he is right now. Just please get in the car so we can lock the doors." I thought that was why she got in the car with no further explanation, but it turns out that wasn't entirely it. "Still there? She with you?" 911 kept checking in, not knowing who the third party I was talking to was. I reassured them, and we drove more cautiously this time to a location the police instructed us to wait as to speak with the police after they cleared the area. They came pretty soon after, and I gave them a statement telling them everything I observed. It turns out the reason she got into a strange pizza guy's car without probing any deeper into the story is because she knew who the man was right away from my description. She had a psycho ex-boyfriend who was apparently crazy enough that he immediately came to mind from hearing, "There's a guy in your bushes."
Okay.
And insisted to leave a huge tip. That was easily one of the creepiest things that has ever happened to me, on the job or off. So to that crazy ex-boyfriend in the bushes that I accidentally peed on, let's not meet again.
Well, no. I thought he was going to say to the guy in the bushes who I accidentally peed on, "I'm not sorry." That would have been funnier. So let's not meet again. You don't fucking say. I would never come near your ass after you just pissed on me. What would have been funnier is if he said, to the creepy guy in the bushes who I accidentally peed on, "I'm not sorry." We might have time for one more video.
When Lucy turned 13, she moved with her father to Japan from Colombia due to his job.
Oh, Jesus. Alright, fuck. We need the subtitles. Click, motherfucker. Oh, God. Why? Technology doesn't like me!
13, she moved with her father to Japan from Colombia due to his job. They arrived to Shizuoka Prefecture and rented a small house to live in. Her dad did research work at one of the universities while Lucy attended a school at Shizuoka closest to their home. During the first week, her dad was able to drive Lucy to school and also to pick her up after. Things were going fine. She started to make new friends, her Japanese was improving, and overall had a great time. But then, Lucy's dad started to work more hours, and in order to spend the weekends with her, he decided to change his routine, meaning he wouldn't be able to drive her or pick her up from school anymore. Lucy had no problem being on her own, and she reassured him that everything was going to be okay.
Well, that's good.
The first 2 weeks walking alone was perfectly fine. Until the Tuesday of the third week. Lucy was on her usual route to school, and then a man around his 30s approached her with a kind smile on his face. He greeted her in English.
He looks
started
pale.
to say things such as, "It's a nice day. I should have brought my dog. And I remember I used to take this way to school." Lucy tried to be polite since it was common to have people from the area approaching her and her dad for small talk. And since Japanese people are so kind and polite, she did the same as well. She told this man that she really needed to hurry for school. He looked at her.
I would have
Somewhat
said
disappointed,
that
he
in
smiled again and
Japanese.
said,
Fuck.
"Oh, sure, you must be a really good student. Always on time. I hope to see you again."
I hope the fuck not.
She saw him again. This time he told her that he actually had seen Lucy and her dad since they arrived, and how he noticed that her dad was no longer driving her to school. He then handed her a plastic bag full of candies and cookies. After that, he finally let her go. In the bag, there were also notes that said, "Have a nice day at school. You are smart. You are pretty." The following day, Lucy decided to confront him. Before he offered one of his gifts, she stopped him and told him he made her uncomfortable and to stop being around her. And all of a sudden, he snapped, and the man started yelling at Lucy, saying she's ungrateful, that she was mistaking their friendship. He pretended to be hurt, and Lucy fell for it.
Damn.
"I should have told my father before," Lucy said. "I should have told him everything." Initially, she felt embarrassed and wanted to resolve the problem by herself. One day, her class had a school trip to the Aokigahara forest. The trip was going well. They were walking near...
I can't remember if I've heard that before or not. I might not have enough time to look it up. If the name clicks with me after this video, I'll bring it up in a different video.
The area of the forest and the surroundings, and were divided by groups of 10 with one teacher at the head. It was going to be a long walk, so everyone was told to go to the restroom beforehand. Each of the students were wearing identification, and when they came back, Lucy suddenly realized that she lost hers and thought to run back to the restroom to check and see if she dropped it just before her teacher would know.
I was just like, screw it, I'll just look it up. It's a forest at the foot of Mount Fuji, as it is well known as the leading unalive site in Japan. I don't know what YouTube would say if I said the actual word, but I ain't gonna take a chance. It's the Japanese unalive forest, so I knew that name stood out to me, and yeah.
Noticed and scold her for losing it. After checking the restroom and not finding her ID, she decided to give up and get back to her group. But then, the guy appeared again. He greeted Lucy and then asked, "What are you doing here?" Feeling shocked and freaked out, Lucy told him that she was in a school trip and that she needed to hurry up and get back to find her group. But before she could get away from him, he said, "Don't you need your ID?" Lucy froze. She looked back at him, and he smiled, then said, "I found it on the ground. I recognized your pretty face, so I put it in my car. Let's go get it before you get in trouble." At this point, Lucy was terrified. He started to look more sinister, and she couldn't say anything. Seeing she wasn't responding, the man grabbed her arm and began to pull her. Lucy snapped and freed from his grip and started to run away. He followed behind, running fast while calling out, "Lucy-chan!
Oh,
Lucy-chan,
God.
what are you doing? Come back here!" She continued running. She didn't realize that she entered the forest and was now without direction. Running for who knows how long, she no longer heard the man's voice. Her whole body felt heavy, and Lucy couldn't catch her breath. She looked around and everything seemed the same. There was silence. She continued walking for a while until she came across a tending camp. Lucy felt relief when she saw a man come out. She proceeded to tell him everything that happened. He seemed confused and a bit scared of her. But after seeing Lucy crying, he changed his expression to a more warming one. He listened to everything quietly until she finished. They both agreed to call the cops and alert the authorities of the place. Thankfully, he knew the way back to the entrance of the forest, and two of the forest keepers were walking there. His name is Yuki, and Yuki told them in Japanese everything that Lucy had told him. The forest keepers brought them to an information area where they called the police and told them to wait there. They also sent other forest keepers to look for the classmates and alert them about the guy. Meanwhile, Yuki tried to comfort Lucy, telling her what he was doing in the woods. He said that his younger brother passed away 5 years ago, and since then, he's been going to the forest on his brother's birthday to honor him. When the police arrived, she told the officer everything that happened while another group of police officers searched the area. They finally found the guy in the forest. They arrested him and searched his car for evidence and found tape, rope, and a knife. She thanked Yuki for saving her life, and shortly after, the trip ended and the school called her father. He immediately rushed to the school, but he didn't scold Lucy that day. He just hugged her, and she cried on his shoulder.
Well, that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Hope you all enjoyed, and if so, be sure to leave a like on the video down below. If you're new around here, to be sure to subscribe, turn on the notification icon so you don't miss a single video. Starting to get back into doing the same old stuff and potentially do some new stuff in the future. So, but yeah, like I said, hope you all enjoyed, and if so, leave a like on the video. Remember, the Force will be with you always, and your destiny lies with me. Obi-Wan knew this to be true.